important. So, conclusions by a former private banker, security analyst, director of gold mining companies, monetary historian, Swiss patriot, and worried citizen of the world. Don't forget, this was written in 2001. The Gold War is nothing else than a third world war. It is not only a most necessary, but the most destructive of all wars. It should be stopped now. World War III may have begun with the demise of the classic gold standard of the 19th century. If the countries at war in World War I had not hastily and foolishly given up the gold standard, World War I would not have lasted more than 6 months, because the warring nations would have run out of gold to pay for it, and more taxes would have been resisted. I contend that World War I lasted as long as it did because the gold standard was abandoned. Deficit financing made it possible for it to last over 4 years, destroying capital wealth, a rich cultural heritage, and unnecessarily killing millions of young soldiers and innocent people. If World War I had lasted only 6 months, currencies would not have been destroyed. There would have been no Versailles Treaty and no German hyperinflation. The little understood Genoa Convention of 1922 was largely responsible for the boom of the 1920s and the crash of 1929, leading to the crisis of the 1930s. Without the mishandling of gold, there would never have been a Hitler. Neither would there have been a Bolshevik takeover by the likes of a Lenin, nor would Russia have had to endure a Stalin with even more millions of innocents killed. There would never have been a World War II. Ignoring gold led to the 1944 Bretton Woods system and also its downfall. Without repeating the mistakes of 1914 or 1922, we never would have had an inflationary crisis in the 1970s. The oil crisis in the 70s and the approaching oil and energy crisis of the 21st century are primarily monetary crises. The suppression of gold and the unlimited expansion of fiat money have led to the monetary, economic, and political crises and wars of the 20th century. The end of Bretton Woods gave birth to the ongoing and future derivative crisis, which is at the base of what Alan Greenspan calls systemic risk. I'm going to pause here for a second. He didn't write this after 2008. Well, anyway, he passed away in 2005. So he was predicting the '08 crisis there. He knew it was going to happen. Because the world disregarded gold money, the world's crises were erroneously, but probably intentionally blamed on gold. This is why we have gold wars. Yeah, there's a total gold war from the mainstream, from the central bankers, from the Keynesians. They say that gold caused the Great Depression, right? No, it was the actions of the bankers and governments, of course. Financial markets can only function satisfactorily under a gold standard. History has shown that monetary stability was best under the automatism of the classic gold standard. Fiat money can only lead to short-lived financial and economic booms. The end result is inflation and embezzlement of savings at the expense of workers, pensioners, and the poor, who are unable to defend themselves against the ongoing fraud. Well, this is even more pronounced today. Well-functioning financial markets based on an honest monetary system guarantee the creation of savings. While savings is a four-letter word today, the powers that be, the financial system, Wall Street, City of London, savings is not good for them. You need to keep spending. That's the whole foundation of the current fiat system. Savings lead to the formation of capital and are a prerequisite for a steadily rising standard of living. Organic growth in line with the growth of gold mine production is what is needed, not growth of 10% and more per annum financed by the creation of paper electronic money. Smoothly functioning financial markets with savings channeled into productive investments bring the world economy to its full potential, increasing employment on a worldwide basis. The catastrophic problem of unemployment could be finally solved, and the growing gap between rich and poor narrowed. It cannot be solved otherwise. If there is full employment in the whole world, there will be fewer wars, less mass immigration, because the world is a beautiful place and its beauty is not limited to just a few rich countries. People would not have to leave their home countries where they have their cultural and religious roots. Mass ethnic and cultural destruction would be a thing of the past. So that's how important it is that we have sound money, honest money. It's not just to protect people's wealth and savings. It's to protect people's heritage and culture. And I agree with Mr. Lips there. Politicians should not use coercion, e.g. legal tender laws, to interfere in the gold and silver markets. History has proven that the free market has chosen gold and silver as money. Money cannot and should not be based on faith and promises by government. Only money based on what people freely choose as being trustworthy, gold, I would say silver as well. With honest money, people will have confidence in the future efficacy of that money, but it is necessary that they take destiny in their own hands and study monetary archaeology. And that's what I've been doing since 2002. And what led me to study monetary archaeology? Well, after buying my first gold coin, I got more interested in the subject of gold and realized that gold was really important to the system. What has gone wrong and why has it gone wrong? There is enough historic documentation around, but unfortunately it is not taught at universities. Finally, I would like to state that I feel that the world will continue towards an even more precarious situation if nothing is done. As technological advances of all kinds have shown, there are plenty of brilliant minds in the world. There ought to be enough to get us out of the present monetary dark ages. This approach would lead to full employment and worldwide prosperity and stability, as well as to a renaissance of culture and morals. Law and order would experience a comeback. It would not be the first time for this to happen. It would also lead to a better understanding of human beings amongst themselves, and it would end most military confrontations. One historic experience is that human nature never changes. Men will therefore always love and respect honest business dealings with a medium of exchange they can trust, gold. Gold will finally win the war, but why not call an armistice now? Let us hope this will happen before it is too late, before too much time and too many lives are wasted. So unfortunately, there has been no armistice called, and we're still in this war. It's still raging, and let's hope that things turn out for the best. So I highly recommend the book. You can find it on Amazon or maybe other places online. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, share it far and wide. Think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't yet. And you can also follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and all these other platforms below here.